This right here is a Sundown Audio LCS version 1. And unlike Hi-Fi CCA Vega, I happen to have 4 of the Sundown Audio LCS version 2. And of course I jest. Or am I? What's up there, Hi-Fi? All right, everybody out there in the Craft Chest Nation. Is that Craft Chest here? And in the last video, you saw where I did a refurb or a refresh on a 12-inch subwoofer box for 2 LCS version 1s, swapping them out for the version 2s. But what I didn't do was show you the difference between, I don't know what happened to that footage because I had it. I just forgot to splice it in, and that's my bad. So in this video, we're going to go over a couple of things. JP from the Gods of Games wanted a completely different build. He wanted to add 2 more Sundown Audio 12-inch, and we went with the LCS version 2s in this build. So he's going to have 4 of them now. And after a lot of ideas that we threw around, a lot of ideas, he kept coming back, and so did I, to an old school look. All right, whether it be in a home or a car, just an old school look. And this is what we came up with. And I hope I hit the right button here. This is what we came up with. All right, and I know the camera's not on there, but here we go. So let me swell this up so you can actually see what's going on. So here's how it's going to be in the back of his Tahoe. All right, as you can see, I got 2 towers with 2 Sundown Audio LCS 12s, and then above it, we're going to have a 6.5 component, whether it's going to be a just a full range like the Scar Audio, or you name a brand out there, or some type of 3-way. He says he wants to save it the Kenwoods because he likes the way those sound. He might get a couple of more of the 6.5 Kenwoods, but up top you see right here is going to be a 6.5, a 12-inch, and 12-inch, and this is going to be its own tower. This is going to be its own tower, and they're going to be connected by these shelves that's going to run all the way through the box, where every speaker is going to have its own chamber. All right, so in the future, if he wants to add another subwoofer, whether he steps up to maybe a SA or a U or something like that, he'll still have the airspace for it, even if he has to invert them, or he might just want to take it all out, sell this build, and come up with something completely different. Like we all do as bass heads, we're never satisfied. So this right here is what we're going to be using. Now, let me go over the details. As you can see, there's going to be a compartment in the middle. It's not going to be quite this wide, but you get the idea, okay? And the amplifiers that we're going to be using, after talking to him, and it made more sense to me since the other amp is not half ohm or quarter. Well, it is technically, but I don't have a warranty on it. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the SFB 600Ds that we got from Sundown Audio, because actually I bought a set and he bought a set of the 12s and a SFB 600 while they had a combo special. It was $150. All right, $200 to the door. All right, how could I pass that up? Okay, he bought one, I bought one because I was going to put it in the Cavalier out here. Okay, but then he got to talking about, man, I want a new build, this, that, and the other. And this is where we're at the moment. So let me give you one more look at this right here without the camera on. And doesn't this look like one of those old school console type of things that you'd see in somebody's living room or something? And I could just picture a turntable up here. I wish I had a picture of a turntable to put in the middle. And he said, I joked around with him the other day and said, hey, what about a turntable in the middle? He goes, I might just do it. So anyway, there you go. So I'm going to end it here. This is going to be the beginning of Project Old School for JP from the Gods of Games, Tahoe. So stay tuned for more. Hope you enjoy the little clip that I'm putting in here. It's about 7 minutes long. That's going to give you a comparison of the Sundown Audio version 1s compared to the version 2s. And there is no comparison. It's not even the same subwoofer. Completely redesigned. So if you're strapped on cash out there, I've heard both subwoofers on the same power and powered to their fullest. And let me tell you something. It was like listening to an 8-inch subwoofer compared to a 12. Changing out the LCS version 1s to the version 2s. And the version 1s are good, don't get me wrong, but I am so glad that they did the improvements that they did. Shout out to Sundown Audio out there for continuing to raise the bar even on your own product. Woo! Now that's a craft of the mind. Stay tuned. Project Old School. Oh, what? Yeah. Old school, baby. Long live the 80s. Out there in the Craft Chest Nation is Craft Chest here. And here we go with Project Old School. I'm sure I did an intro video showing you a picture of what we're going to be doing. And what I have in front of me right here is something that I wanted to add to this series, is a comparison, because I saw a video from Hi-Fi Vega just the other day where he was doing a comparison with an LCS version 1 from Sundown Audio, and he didn't have a version 2. Well, let me tell you something. Version 1 and version 2 are night and day, and I would love to see him redo that video with an LCS version 2 in comparison not only to a version 1, but to the, what was that, the DD Audio Redline series, I believe it was, and do a comparison to both. Because this LCS version 2, after I did the refurb on that box the other day for JP's build, it was like, what, this doesn't even sound the same. This is like totally, it's like you almost had some like 8-inch compared to these 12s now. And I didn't even put all of the sound check that we did from when I was sitting in the front. I got footage, but you know, copyright and all that other good stuff, and that's neither here nor there. I don't want to digress too much, but let me tell you something. Version 1s versus version 2s, not even the same subwoofer. They totally redesigned the subwoofer, and I'm going to show you what I'm talking about right now. All right, now as you can see, the rubber surround, they're basically the same right here, but that's about where all the similarities are. Maybe the dust cap, I don't know, the dust caps, they're probably just universal dust caps that they use for certain lines of subwoofers, which I'm sure. Now, as you can see here on the outside surround, where we have just the plain Jane foam molded versus the rubber mount here for these. And I'm really not too keen on these myself, but it is an addition, it is an upgrade. And let me put this camera down and flip these over, because I don't have my head mount still. I got to find it. But I'm going to flip these over and put them on a little bit of a tilt here to show you some differences. See, this one here, it doesn't even have the same balance as this. And I think it's because of that rubber boot, but that's okay. I'm going to show you the differences anyway. All right, I got my kneeling board here. And let's go over, as soon as I get done messing the mic up about 20 times, let's go over some of the major differences, which is everything. All right, first of all, you can see the paper pulp cones are different. I'm going to show you the major difference of them here in just a moment. When I flip them back over, you'll say, oh yeah, I didn't even notice that. But I don't know if you can see it right now. Put it in the comments if you do. All right, spade terminals, they're done away with. Single tinsel leads, done away with. We now have push terminals, and I'm going to flip it up where you can actually see it a little better, hopefully, because I did run out of light here. We're going to look inside of here. We have vents now, all right, where this version 1 does not. And I may be wrong, but I think these slugs are a little heavier, or it's all the hardware that they added, but it does feel heavier in my opinion. All right, I'm not talking pounds, but definitely by several ounces. These just feel like this one's heavier than version 1. Now, let's look at version 1 inside of here. Let me let it stabilize. And as you can see how tall that spider is on the outside right there? All right, I hope I'm getting that. All right, and see how it just has the single sewn-in tinsel leads. All right, no venting, can't even see the coil or anything like that. That is your version 1. All right, it got the job done, still gets the job done. This subwoofer here still works. Now let's look at version 2. Oh yeah, and the stamped steel basket, plain Jane. Now we have Sundown Audio logo stamped into the basket. And there goes my throat. Oh, please don't give me a coughing attack. All right, so let's look inside of here at the version 2. And as you can see, night and day. Spider is completely different. Can y'all see the difference in the spider? See how this one's really, really tall, and this one's just a completely different spider. I don't know what it is. It's still a black spider. Let me see if this one's got a little better lighting. Okay. Dual tinsel leads sewn in, completely different. These are more like component speaker leads, like, I don't know, something you'd see, yeah, on a component speaker. And this one here, way better quality. The vents, I don't know if you can see inside of there, but you can actually see the coil now inside of there. It looks just like a plain copper coil, clear coated. I don't see any black glue or anything on it or what have you, but it is, you know, you can see it. Push terminals, OP. That is the most overpowered thing ever created on a subwoofer, in my opinion, really. And then just the overall look of the LCS version 2 versus the version 1. And I still have a few of these, and they're going to be used for future projects. And then finally, if you haven't noticed it yet, the cones are actually completely different also. See how this one has a deep slope to it? This one does not have as deep a slope to it. Okay, little things like that. As a matter of fact, I don't know, it may be actually, I don't know, it may be the same distance here and here, but definitely this one is sloped way in. This is more like a U or an SA or something like that, in my opinion. All right, so there it is. Sundown Audio LCS version 1 versus the version 2. We have heard the version 1s in JP's ride. We're going to hear the version 2s more in the future, and I'll be sure and get some copyright-free music, like I did the sound checks in Project Define over here, and we'll get those together once we have the system put in, so that you can hear the differences from back when we had the LCS 1s versus the new build with the 2s. Okay, so High Five Vega, thank you for your video last week, and I would highly suggest, if you can, get you an LCS version 2 and do the comparison over again, or another video in addition to the last one. Awesome video as usual. Yeah, and I think that's about it for this video. It's Craft of the Mind. Go out there and have some fun, and stay tuned for updates for Project Old School. And I should have went over these holes here, but we're going to do that in the next video. Woo!